All right, so today's topic is, will he stick around even if he's not in love? If you're watching this on YouTube, you are watching the replay. If you are watching on Instagram, then you are watching it live. Drop your city and state so that I can shout you out. We are going to be talking about a guy and discussing whether or not he would stick around if he is not in love. There was a lot of activity on the post that I did earlier today, so I want to get into this. And it's very interesting that so far it is all guys who have joined so far. Okay, we have a woman I just see joined in. Hey, sis. But I want to explain to the ladies, and it'll be good since there are so many guys here, you guys can give the male cosign, and you don't have to say if you've done this, but you can cosign whether or not it is true. All right? So we're going to let people get in, and then we will get started. Okay, we have Jay in Washington, D.C. Hey. It's late for you there. We have Leo in St. Louis, Missouri. Shout out your city and state, guys. So I'm going to let a few people come in. I'm going live a little bit later than I normally am, so we will see. So tongue-tied. We'll see how many people are up right now. I know for Pacific time zone, it's a little bit earlier, 8 o'clock? So we'll see. He said, finally home in South Carolina, been enjoying learning while deployed, currently in Charleston. Oh, nice. Very nice. We got a Charlotte, North Carolina. Lots of guys at this time. This is probably a record, having more guys than women on here. All right, so we will see if we have any ladies on this post, since the ladies are the ones who are dating men. But like I said, fellas, you guys can co-sign if you would like. But I'm going to be talking today about, will he stick around even if he's not in love? And I just realized that there was a typo, so let me fix that because that's going to bug me. There we go. Okay, so let me fix this. Oh, we got Long Beach, California. Hey, shout out to Cali. Okay. So let's get into this. Like I said, I did the post today on this, and I think for women, we as women can make things more complicated than they really are. And it's funny because since guys are so simplistic in this regard, I think that that's why it's probably so confusing to men, why women are so complicated. A lot of times we can't even explain ourselves, so I don't even know how y'all deal with it. Fortunately, I don't date women, so I don't have to be on the receiving end of dealing with that. But with guys, you guys are so straightforward. And, I thought this thing pinned. Okay, there we go. You guys are very straightforward. Oh, shout out, we have Belize. Very nice. What time is it there? You guys are pretty straightforward in the sense that you will either declare that you're interested in a woman and you will move forward. You know, you see people who pop the question within like 3 months, people who get married a year after meeting. You know, when you guys like a woman, you move forward and you make it clear. We got Nashville in the house. Oh, hey, shout out to Nashville. I'm actually near Nashville right now. So shout out to you. It's a great little city. And so he said a lot of patience. There's a delay with the comments. So talking about dating women, that's funny. So I want to talk to women and explain something that goes over a lot of women's heads. And unfortunately, if you don't know this, it's confusing. Oh, it's the exact same time. That's so interesting. Unless it's exact same time. I didn't know that. So when a man is not interested, you would think that he would say, hey, I'm not interested. Take care, have a good life. Typically because a lot of times that's what the women do who have good intentions. Guys could say, oh, well, women do things that don't make sense and they play games. Yes, those are women who are not looking for love. But the type of content that I do is for women who are serious. My page attracts women who are seriously looking for love. They're not looking for the come up. They're not gold diggers. They are not opportunists. These are women, because I talk to them with dating, coaching. They're serious. They want to improve themselves and be in a position where they can be loved. So for a woman like that, it's hard to imagine why somebody would know for a fact they don't want to be in a relationship and stick around. And so I think that's why the post was so successful today, explaining that. So the question that I have pinned is, will he stick around even if he's not in love? And the answer is Absolutely 100% yes. Now, will all guys stick around? No. That's not 100%. Obviously, you've seen people who have, ghosted you or taken off or whatever. But the thing is that there are a lot of men who will stick around. And so I want to explain the psychology behind this, okay? There are a few different reasons, and I'm going to give you just a handful of them today. And if you guys, the gentlemen who are on here, would like to share other reasons why, feel free to add to my list. This is, of course, not an exhaustive list. It's just a few examples to really help make this make sense, okay? One of the first things that comes to mind, a reason why a guy will not let a woman go, is because she's familiar. That's maybe they've been dating for a while. Maybe they were childhood sweethearts. Maybe they know the same people. It's just something familiar. It's the same reason why some women struggle to let a guy go, even though she knows that he's not good for her. You get used to that person. You guys have the same routine. And then the idea is like, oh man, I have to learn something, learn a new person, or they have to learn me. So the first thing could be just familiarity, right? So that's almost like a codependency thing. The second one is just very, very, very basic. It's just loneliness, right? So you have a woman who's already in your life, and she's around. You guys are used to talking to each other. You have that routine. And yes, he said you get comfortable. That's perfect. I'm assuming it's a guy. I can't really see because the picture is so small. Excuse me. And so, these guys can be lonely. So it's nice to have somebody there to curl up next to. And what's so interesting is you would be shocked a lot of times about the woman that the guy is entertaining. The types of women that guys will entertain who they don't even like bring outside. There are some women who they're like, this is just someone I can lay up under. This is somebody that, I enjoy being around them, but I definitely am not trying to bring them outside. Okay. And so you got to watch out, right? But that person might be going, oh, they're spending all this time with me, and whatever excuse they're giving for not taking them out on a proper date or moving forward. That's hopefully she gets on my page and she'll see the Blue's Clues. But he genuinely enjoys spending time with her because she breaks the loneliness. Okay. Billie Jean, do me a favor. So, those of you who are new to my live streams, if you have questions, I do my best to answer all of them. But make sure you use the little question mark icon. You might have to hit the plus sign for it to show up, but use that so that it stays. It will pin the question in the queue, and then I can answer them. Hey, Linka, thank you for joining in. So, loneliness is a real thing. So there are some people who are good enough to be around and, enjoy their company, but they're not good enough. I use air quotation marks because I'm not agreeing. It's the guy saying that, right? That she's willing to, she can be taken out publicly. Another reason, and these three kind of all go together, but she could just be a placeholder. Because they don't want, Sydney, Australia. Very nice. Very nice. I always like to see who's really, really far watching. So very cool. We have Belize, in Sydney, Australia tonight. That's kind of cool besides the US. But she could be a placeholder. He could have her around because she is serving a purpose. And so I guess actually all these could kind of go under the umbrella of a placeholder if I really wanted to be literal. But she's just serving that purpose. And you've seen this a lot, right? Someone is with a guy for 5 years, 6 years, whatever, or even has a kid for him, and he ends up finally breaking up or maybe cheating or whatever, and then marries the next person within a couple of months, right? We've seen that. He said, I'm watching and eating breakfast in Germany. I love it. Hey, Jason, good to see you here. So that's the reason why he never was into this woman. And this is the thing that is so amazing when you really watch men. You watch men, you observe them, you talk to them. Men are not scared of commitment. Let me say this one more time. Actually, you guys type this. We're going to do this like a gospel church. Write in the comments, men are not afraid of commitment. Thank you so much. I appreciate that. I'm not going to try to pronounce your name because it's hard to know if it's an Instagram name or your real name, but thank you so much. She said, love your content. Type this in the comments, men are not afraid of commitment. I think that a lot of times women will, what is the word? Like, they want to vilify men and say, oh, they're afraid of commitment, or they don't know what to do, or they're not romantic. No, they're not challenged mentally in any way. Okay. They're not afraid of commitment. They're not unaware of what to do. A lot of times maybe they struggle with commitment, but for the most part, they're going to figure it out if they feel the woman is worth it. Okay. So men are not afraid of commitment. I want to see that just like flooded on my timeline. Let's get rid of this notion that men are afraid of commitment. Men, won't do this. Men are not that. Men are lazy. No. They're not inspired to do that. Okay. So Jason says, we are not afraid of commitment. We are afraid of women's behavior after she's upset in a breakup. That's a whole nother can of worms, though. The long term, the fear of what could be on the long term. But at least in the front end, it's whether he thinks that she is good for him or not is going to be the thing that makes him commit. Okay. So one of the things that I found, I'm going to take a little detour. So I have a group. That's how everything got started. And I would just ask questions. These were all strangers at one point, but I would just ask questions, and trying to understand. What I noticed about women, and let me know if you agree, because I'm going to speak for women and for men, so let me know both genders if you agree with this. But what I've noticed that we as women will tend to be in a place where we're either ready to date or not ready to date. Thank you, Linka. She got the first badge. Thank you so much. I really appreciate that. So women will there's like two switches. They're either ready to date or not ready to date. So she might say, I just want to have fun right now, or I just want to focus on school right now, or I just got out of a situation, so I'm not ready to love right now. But her switch will be off. Or she'll be like, oh my God, I'm ready to love. And she's almost like, what are those things? Like a shark. She can smell blood in the water. Like she is ready. She is on the hunt. She is ready for love. And if she's not careful, she can rush into a relationship. That's how I see women. With men, I remember asking a question, and the assumption was that they had the switch. And the guys were kind of giving me pushback, and I felt at first that they were being difficult, but I realized after I got more and more information, men don't have this switch. Okay. Again, this is just my assessment. Please give me your feedback. They don't have a switch. They're just kind of in neutral. And then when they meet the woman, the barometer goes back and forth. So let's just say he meets woman A, and she is freaking amazing. She's stacked. She looks amazing. They everything is right. He's like, ding, 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 commit. He wants to go to commitment. And then let's say he meets somebody else, drop dead gorgeous. Then she opens her mouth and she has nothing to talk about. She's not a lot going up there, or whatever. And he's like, not commit. It's not that he's not in a place for commitment. It depends on the woman. So that was something that was kind of mind-blowing to me, because I never thought of it that way. I really, really thought that, a guy is either ready or he's not. He's not. There are guys who will even think that they're not ready, but when they meet the right woman, suddenly it's like, whoa. Some guys might think I would never get married, and then they meet her, and then they're, oh my gosh, I don't know why, but I suddenly want to start shopping for rings. Or guys who are having so much fun with the single life, and then they meet the one, which is why it's called the one, and then they're like, I think I want to get booed up. So it kind of knocks a man off his feet. Most guys don't go in like, okay, I'm ready to fall in love now. Let me sort through my options. They will interact with someone, and it's like hitting them in the face. So guys, like I said, this is a record for how many guys we have on this live stream, at least when you first logged in. So let me know if I am describing it accurately, but that's what I have seen. This is why it's so important for me to explain to women, one, do not get your feelings hurt if a guy does not commit to you. It could just be that you're not compatible. It could just be that there's something that he feels he's missing. It could also be because he's just in a place where he needs to focus on work or something like that. So we got the first male cosign. So that's great. Thank you, Jason. It's so important that you don't look at the situation like you're less than, or you're not valuable, or you're not a great catch. You just might not be a great catch for that guy. And the way for you to realize that it isn't personal, or you shouldn't take it personally, is think about all the guys you encounter. They might be great guys to the point where you're recommending them to a friend, but they're not it for you. It just doesn't like do that thing for you, whatever it is. If men see something rare, they want them to themselves. That is true. I have definitely seen that. He said it's always also why we keep a girlfriend but keep looking. Yes. So, oh, hey, Lynette. Good to see you from Little Rock, Arkansas. I love that. She knows the drill. And that's what I was saying about the placeholder, okay? So some guys are relationship guys. Thank you, Sai. You're so sweet. They're relationship guys in the sense that they love feminine energy, right? Which is why I'm teaching my class on femininity next Tuesday. They love the feminine energy. It is actually healing and therapeutic, guys say, to be able to lay on a woman's lap, right? I'm not even talking about something sexual. Laying his head on her lap or laying his head on her chest, it is just therapeutic. Guys tend to not always want to just talk. We as women, that's therapy. For the men, it's like, I want to just power down my brain and just lay there. And it's this energy thing. And so she doesn't have to be the one for him to be able to appreciate the energy, right? Or it could be the obvious one, a physical need. He's pent up. He needs that release. And guess what? Well, he's a heterosexual man. She's a woman. There is another reason why a guy could keep a woman around. They might have great chemistry in bed. They already know each other's bodies. And so that's another reason why a guy could keep a woman around. And it's so sad to me when I see people, talking about, oh, make sure you're really good at bed so you can keep your man. Sex is not going to keep a guy who doesn't already want you. If he already wants you, then great sex is a bonus. But the great sex isn't going to make him open up his heart and commit to you. It's just going to make him come back for more sex. So that whole thing is really giving people a skewed version of it. And the other thing, which I said a million times before, if you first meet a guy and what he gets introduced to right away is sex, it can actually confuse him. Like, I mean, someone who's not a player, not someone who's going in trying to play games, it can actually confuse him because you have not allowed him to develop the emotional attachment. And so now you have a guy who is sexually attached to you, but not emotionally attached to you. And the emotional attachment is the anchor. So it's important, especially if you got that good, to not give it right away. Okay. Thank you so much for the cosigns. Thank you for the hearts, you guys. It's weird when you do these things because I'm just looking at myself in the camera. I don't see you guys' faces. So the emojis and the emotions and the reactions and the comments are what help me to know if I am on point. So thank you. I know when I watch live streams, I kind of just like watch like this and I forget to give the feedback. So thank you. You guys are being very, very helpful, being reactionary. It's important to have feminine energy poured into you as a man, but not always. The work maintaining a relationship is not in his cards. So women need to understand God designed us to basically have like superpowers, you think about what a man wants from a woman, unless you have one of these, dare I say, beta men. Most guys are not looking to women to provide for them. They're not looking for protection. They're not looking for, a lot of things. They genuinely want to be around a woman. If you ask a woman what she wants from a man, she will list off all the stuff, If you ask a man what he wants, typically you're going to see non-tangibles. Be my peace. Be a safe space. They are intangible. Why? Because femininity is about being. Masculinity is about doing. That is why the post that I did really resonated with men and women, because I said men want to be needed and women want to be wanted. Why? It goes hand in hand. Men are designed to do, be productive. Of course, this is not 100% meaning that he doesn't care if he's wanted and she doesn't care if she's needed. It's the majority of the energy. So a man will do, and guess what he wants from the woman? Just this. That's it. A pat on the head. Emotionally, like, good job, Hercules. And of course, I'm being theatrical with it, but that's literally enough for a man. That's enough. He will go out, he will get up at the crack of dawn, break his back trying to bring home the bacon. And if the wife goes, "Oh, thank you, you're my hero," he's good, right? And so with the woman, she is wanting the provision. She is wanting him come in every day, take care of things. Let me do what I need to do. And you just be that thing that is my security. I don't have to stress about the bills. I don't have to stress about, someone breaking in and I'm just over here like, oh, I just need you to be my rock. And it allows us to be in that safe space where we can do. So going together, I got a little bit of a tangent, y'all. Okay. If you haven't signed up for my femininity class, make sure you do that. I am allowing 2 more people in because if it make it too big of a class, then the Q&A session is going to go forever. So, try to keep it under 2 hours. But if you haven't signed up for my class, DM me. I'll give you the information. It's next Tuesday. But this is stuff that I'm telling you, I love that. Take care of me so I can take care of us. I love that. It's this synergy, right? Where it's almost like 2 people breathing into each other's lungs. You breathe into me, now I have breath, now I can breathe into you. Then you can breathe into me, so I have breath, and you can breathe. That's why it drives me nuts when I see all this gender war propaganda that's trying to pit men and women against each other. No, we're meant to go together, yin and yang, and be harmony. So y'all, I get preaching because I get all excited about this. But anywho, let's get back to the topic. Reset, right? Like we're in Clubhouse. So the question is, will he stick around even if he's not in love? And I have gone through the reasons why, some of the top reasons why. It's a familiar situation. He's used to you. You guys have history together. He's lonely. He really does enjoy the feminine company. And overall, it's just a placeholder, right? He's holding on until he meets the one because you're good enough. Now, if you are an absolute headache, if you are draining his pockets, if you are, miserable to be around, he will take off, okay? But if you are providing stuff for him, if you are useful, if you're a resource or an asset, why in the world would he walk away? By the way, guys, let me know how the quality is. I just realized I didn't have my AirPods in. So if the quality sounds not as clear, let me know and I'll put them in. But I just realized I've been jabbering and haven't put it in. So, but if you're useful in some ways. So there are some women who, as soon as they get attention from a guy, they're going, ooh, I need to show my worth. I need to show what I bring to the table. And she will go into straight wifey mode. I'm talking, she's always at his house. She is doing laundry. She is cooking. She is cleaning. When he has an appointment, she's reminding him of that. These are all great things to do, but pump your brakes and save something for when he commits, because you are taking away his incentive. It's like telling a kid, here, I'm going to give you your cake either way, but do your homework, as opposed to saying, once you do your homework, you'll get the cake, right? So a lot of this stuff is just human psychology. You need to understand how men work, and men are very incentivized. That is how they are. And if they feel like something is exclusive, like somebody said before, they value it even more. And so there is so much, there's so much psychology that goes into this. And it's interesting because I don't like to talk too much about it on my page, because a lot of people are in denial about the psychology. And so they will push back and say, oh, that's not true. Men might say that. But the fact is that you can't argue with what works. If it works, it works. Like somebody said on a show that I was on, and they were saying, don't play games. And I feel like there's a thin line between playing games and understanding human psychology. There is a reason why things work the way that they do. So I don't want to get into a tangent, but I'm just saying, ladies, I can get more specific in my one-on-one coaching and my classes and things like that. But this stuff works. And to be fair, it's on both sides. Women have psychology too. Women have this thing. Okay, I'll just give one example so men don't think I'm coming for you guys and act like we don't. We tend to like what's desirable. That's why it sticks out to us if a guy carries himself with that leadership energy, or people call alpha energy. When a guy comes in the room and all the dudes are like, oh, who's that? And all the chicks are like, ooh, there's something about that. We like the leader of the pack. So that same guy might not have been anything on his own, but if he seems like he's successful, if he seems like he has respect of his peers, we're paying attention. You look at, when you look at some of these celebrities and you take away, I don't want to say names, I was going to say a name, but that would just be ungodly. You take away their fame, you take away their finances, this guy is getting no love. So we as women, we have psychology too, okay? So it's not just guys, okay? All right, so what is another reason? I mentioned this already, so good sex. So if you are putting it down and he is not committed to you, it really does take away the incentive. And I know that it's not possible for all the women to switch it up, but here's the thing. As much as women don't want to say, oh, that's all I'm bringing, because it's not. Their femininity is so much more than sex, right? But sex is doggone incentivizing. When the shops are all closed, it makes the bar go up, right? If I cannot get food unless I pay money, I'm going to figure out how to work to get money to get the food. If you're just giving it away, it loses its value. How many guys say that? Oh, I can get it anywhere, blah, blah, blah. If we have so much power that we have started to give away because we are liberated, we have our needs too, and we just need, because you're the one who is upset when you are single in your 40s, 50s versus the guys they're okay. They're getting what they want. They are getting the wife. They're getting the sex. They're getting all they're even getting the kids. They're getting the families and the legacies, and they're not having to commit. Okay. Look at what the guys say. Why is marriage worth it? Well, yeah, why would marriage be worth it if you can get an entire marriage without the legal commitment? And what is the legal commitment? It's for the safety of the woman. If you're going to go all the way back to Bible days, it was for the safety of the woman, because the woman was the helpmate to the man. The woman was there to help him. And without that guy, she's just out here flailing, right? Not saying she can't survive, but that is her purpose. So if for whatever reason the man did not marry her, she would go back to the father and the father would provide for her. The women were never intended to go out here and survive, right? Like on their own. Not that we can't. Okay, again, don't come for me, feminists. It's not that we can't. That's not how we're wired. So many women, right? If not 99% of them, they will work because it's a means to an end or because they get some sort of gratification from it. If you look at the jobs that women choose, okay, this is scientifically, statistically proven, most women go into a career because it is a passion. It gives them purpose. It gives them life. They said the reason why teachers make so little is because the market is flooded. I am from LA. I have seen extras, right? How much are extras getting paid for a full day? You can get paid maybe $60 for a full day of shooting. I'm talking more than 8 hours. Why? Because there is such a high demand to be an extra. They don't have to hardly pay anything. And I think the reason why they pay anything is just because people are in the Screen Actors Guild and there's certain like union rules. But when you have so many people wanting to get into something, you don't have to pay that much. Anyway, I digress. The purpose of talking about this is, and this was such an eye opener because they were talking about the wage gap. Women are not going out there and trying to get the highest paid job. They are going out there to get a job that either matches their lifestyle or gives them life. That is why you can have a job that pays really high wages, but if they're out there on a barge, if they're out there, in a dangerous field, women are not going to go and pick that stuff, okay? So what does that tell us? That tells us that we as women are not driven by the money. We are driven by trying to survive or wanting to have an enjoyment in our job. Like what I do, I love doing this. But I never want to feel like I have to do this to be able to put food on my table. That's not how I'm wired. I would absolutely love for someone else to be worrying about the provision, and then I do this because I'm enjoying it. Does that make sense, you guys? I don't want to just harp on it, but I wanted to make that clear. We as women are wired to want to receive, and cultivate, and men are wired to go out and do. Okay? So I think I have broken that down considerably. We can move forward. Somebody commented on the post and was saying that, one of the reasons a guy could stick around and not actually commit to the woman is because she's not quite hit the mark, but he sees potential. And I felt like this was a good talking point. That was actually the inspiration for this live stream. If somebody says, you have some qualities, but you're not all the way there, right? Or maybe you have a great personality, but your look isn't really my thing. Or your look is amazing, but you're not really on my level. Whatever the reason, whether it's true or not, right? Maybe because they said something like she needs to level up, she's not wifey material, she needs to do whatever. One, that's subjective. Okay, it's subjective whether or not you're wifey material, because you could be wifey material to someone else and not the other person. But the other thing is this: never be with a guy who is marrying you for your potential, because that means that if you never reach whatever level he thinks that you should be at, he's never going to give you his full love. If he's saying, I'm sticking around, I'm stringing you along because I'm hoping that one day you get it together, that's not cool. That would be like a woman saying, you're not making a lot of money, but I'm going to stick around in the hopes that you make it. Well, what if you don't make it? You would want that person to love you for who you are right now. And if things advance, great. But that should not be the thing that's keeping you there. Potential is not enough reason. And this is the thing, ladies, we are designed, we are created, we have this need internally to be adored, to be cherished and adored. If you look in Corinthians, I'm going to go biblical for a second, okay? So I might lose some of you. But if you want to go biblical, the Bible says, husbands, love your wife as Christ loved the church. It was sacrificial. It was love. When to the death. And with men, he says, or wives, he says, wives, respect your husbands, right? Because it's natural for us to love and all that stuff. So this tells me that we are wired to want to be loved and adored. And if you get a guy who is not smitten with you, if you get a guy who doesn't think that he leveled up, if you get a guy who doesn't think that he got the baddest chick, he is not going to, unless he has just major self-discipline, he is not going to be able to give you that energy that you're looking for. Okay? He might do all the things on paper, provide for you, be a good father, protect you, but you can feel it, right? As women, we know the difference between a man who is like, that's my girl, and loves on you, versus the guy who's just, you'll do, right? So it's so important, ladies. It is so important that you do not interfere with the process of dating when it comes to being the leader. You want this man to show you whether or not he is smitten with you. Because as women, it's really easy for us to get caught up in the fantasy and then just, okay, he's giving me attention, I'm falling in love. We can fall in love quickly. You need to keep your head on a swivel to see if he's showing you signs that he is really, really into you. And a lot of times as women, we will lie to ourselves and say, I'm letting him take the lead, but you're dropping hints. You're trying to move things along. You're purposely trying to walk past the wedding venue with the bridal gowns. You're purposely leaving the magazine open on the rings. You're purposely inviting him to weddings or pointing out on Instagram the next couple that got engaged. Stop lying to yourself. If you have to try to convince a guy to commit to you in a relationship or to convince you to get married, you might be successful, and that's the worst thing that can happen. The absolute worst case scenario is that you actually are successful and you convince him, because he will either resent you or just be completely apathetic. And that is a pain worse than death. It is a slow, painful death. You're going to just want it to be over. Anybody who has been in a relationship, anyone who's been married, who has not had the man head over heels, that can explain to you that that is a pain worse than death that you would not wish on your worst enemy. And he said he'll most likely run if you press him to marry you. Absolutely. But some men will do it out of like desperation, I guess I would say. If they're lonely, all the reasons I gave, I'm lonely, or I'm worried she'll leave and I don't have the other person yet. So there are all kind of weird reasons, or, her income is helping, and so maybe I'll, whatever, right? But it is a pain worse than death. You trust and believe, please believe, that is not what you want, okay? She said, I've been thinking all of this confirmation. Hallelujah. I'm telling you, you guys, my whole goal in life is to be as honest as I can. And I have made so many mistakes. I'm 42 years old. I'll be 43 in April. I have made so many mistakes. And I hope that there is at least one person that can learn from the mistakes that I have made. Okay. I've been that bright-eyed girl who was just so excited to get married. I felt like I was an old spinster at 23. I just could not wait. Got married, engaged after 3 months of knowing someone. Like, I have made all of the mistakes. Okay. And this kind of transitions into the last one that I gave. Sometimes a guy doesn't even realize he's not into her, right? What I mean by this is if the cartoon eyes are like, rah, 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 he's so into her as a 10, he might be like at a 4 or 5, and that might be the most he's ever felt for a woman. So he feels like, yeah, I like her, she's pretty and she's nice, and he's being logical about it. But because he's never met a woman who sends him on the scale to 10, he's thinking, yeah, okay, this could be my person. And so he could be sticking around because he feels like this is the best he can do. But the problem is that he could potentially meet someone down the road who does do it for him. Or like I said, or maybe he stays faithful, but it never compels him, to show that love and shower the way that he would if he was at a 10. Does that make sense to you guys? Hopefully that is helpful. Okay, so I'm going to get into these questions. It looks like there is one, and somebody had asked a question before, so I don't know if she's still around. Make sure you drop it in the question box so I can answer it. But before I answer this question, just a reminder, I have 2 more spots for my femininity class. It's next Tuesday, January 24th, and it starts at 7 o'clock Central Standard Time, which is 8 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. It should be about 2 hours. And if you are unable to attend, I will have an option most likely for a replay. So hit me up if you cannot attend, or if you're going to be running late, you can also get the replay and catch up on what you missed. But it is going to be packed with information. And guys, you should be grateful that so many women are interested in femininity, okay? This is not a gold digger class. This isn't a come up class. This is a femininity class. Femininity is just so intoxicating, and it can be the difference between a guy asking you out or passing you by. So really important to have. All right, so let me get into this question. I just have one, so this should be quick. What do you think about being friends first before dating? Kay, I actually think that is the only way to go. If you think about it, there was a quote. Let me come back. There was a quote somebody said, and I absolutely loved it. It said, if you were not physically attracted to this person, would you want to be their friend? And I thought that is such a poignant way of explaining or stating, thank you so much, stating what I'm about to explain. Okay. So it said, if you were not physically attracted to this person, would you want to be their friend? The butterflies, the honeymoon phase, the chemistry, that ebbs and flows. There will be times where you feel like this guy is so fine or she's so gorgeous, you just want to rip their clothes off and just have all their babies, right? And then there are other times where you just look at them and it's just going to make you mad. There are times where you just want to talk for hours, and then there are going to be other times where you're like, I swear to God, if you say one more word, I'll be on the news, okay? So that ebbs and flows. So you never want to base your interaction with someone or your relationship with them or choose to commit to somebody based off of the butterflies. And what do we talk about? The first 3 months, you are high on your own drugs, okay? The chemicals in your brain, dopamine, oxytocin, all of those things, the love drugs, which help us to bond with somebody, that is temporary. So the first 3 months, don't even consider the first 3 months. If after 3 months you're still digging this person and you haven't had sex, because sex will chemically bond you to that person and you'll feel attached to them, falsely, that is a great sign. And it's funny because when I get to know people, when I'm dating, sometimes I will call a guy friend. I'll be like, hey friend, and I have had guys think I was putting them in the friend zone. And I'm like, no, I don't mean that. So I had to be careful and not use that because, I don't want to be confusing. So I think it's okay to flirt. It is okay. Let me see this comment. Friends first always blurs the lines with me because we can go from friends to sleeping together, no commitment. It happened twice with me. Yes, but that's the thing. Friends aren't sleeping together. That when you're literally friends, there's not intimacy, right? Even when it comes to kissing, Like, I feel like everything in moderation. So I sound like I'm contradicting myself, but hear me out. Friends who occasionally kiss, right? And flirt. That's kind of the more realistic description. But what I was going to say is that even with kissing, I do not recommend makeout sessions. Why? Because makeout sessions are just the beginning stage of foreplay. So you don't want to start the engine if you're still in the garage, right? You'll die of the whatever is coming out, right? I was gonna say carbon monoxide, but is it carbon monoxide? Whatever comes out of the pipe, okay? And so the other thing is that sorry, I'm seeing a comment which is making me think about saying something else. You want to establish that there is chemistry first. You want to establish there's chemistry, and you want to establish that there is a desire to be with each other romantically. So I'm not saying you have a guy, he's really hot, he thinks you're cute, and you guys get along, and maybe it could turn into something. I'm talking about two people have established that they like each other, and we are intentionally dating. But right now, at the beginning, we're going to focus on friendship. So with friendship, you think about a platonic friendship, what do? At the beginning, you talk about your life. You talk about your interests. You talk about your insecurities. You know, you genuinely get to know each other. And then you're going to want to do things to build that friendship, having shared experiences. That's why with dating, I don't recommend doing the super romantic stuff out the gate. Why? Because you haven't built romance. That you're just going off of some fairy tale. Actually do activities that you like to do together. Go bowling, go hiking, you know, I don't care, going on a booze cruise, like whatever the things that you would actually do in your real life when you're together, start to do those things so you can see each other in mixed company. Go and do boring stuff together, like go to Walmart. I always say I want to see you at Walmart. Can I actually have fun with you grocery shopping? Because I hate grocery shopping. But I think the problem is that we try to do phase 3 from the beginning. We meet, we immediately go into the romance, you know, which is not the real you. And then you go into sex, which bonds you. And then when all the chemicals finally, you know, slow down, you're like, I don't even like that person. But now you have all this, you know, hopefully not a kid out of it, right? You're going to have all these attachments and all this baggage and whatever. So it's really, really important that you guys are compatible, and part of that is during the friendship phase. What I do with my coaching clients is we go through our list. We go through deal breakers, our absolute requirements, and then of course the preferences. Like, this needs to be something that you are thinking through logically, and that's where a lot of us women go wrong, is that we're just so caught up in how he makes us feel. I get butterflies, and that's how you look up and realize, like, oh, he doesn't even want kids and I want 3. So the friendship part is where all this stuff comes into place. But that was a great question. I think that's a record, just having one question. Y'all let me off the hook easy today. But speaking of questions, there will be a Q&A session at the end of my femininity class. It is Tuesday, January 24th, next Tuesday, and it happens via Zoom. And so if you want to come to the class, just DM me about my femininity class. Like I said, I have 2 more spots. It might be 1 because I had someone say that they're going to send me the payment. So I might get off of here and it's on there. But either way, DM me and we'll work it out. Okay, guys? Let me know. Did you enjoy this? Did you learn anything today? I had taken a couple of months off. I think it was like October, November. I had kind of laid off of content, really, and especially live streams. And so it's really fun to kind of be back in the mix. And there are so many new names that I haven't seen, which it's crazy. You would think with my follower count, I wouldn't recognize names, but you start to see the same people. And so I'm noticing there are a lot of newbies. Thank you again for the badges. It really goes a long way, you guys. I do this full time, so every little bit counts. So I really appreciate that. Hey, my little sis side, good to see you on here. I'm really glad. And I'll just hang on for just a second while you guys give me feedback to make sure no one else wants to submit a question before I go. I think it's been like almost an hour, so it's crazy how fast time goes. But let me know, guys. Drop your question in the question box if you have any other questions. And also, did you guys know that I have a YouTube channel? I keep forgetting there are new people here and then people who've been around. I have a YouTube channel. And so if you like this type of content, I save my live streams, I put them on YouTube, and I have longer form content. So I can only do little blurbs, on Reels and on the carousel posts. I tend to do carousel posts and Reels, but on YouTube, I can go into more detail. And then, of course, if you really want in-depth one-on-one, you can do coaching. She said, pin this to your highlights if you can. Oh, you're so sweet. So normally what I do is, like I said, I put this on YouTube because if I put it here, it's harder to watch. You can't pause and go back and all that. And so it's a lot easier. And it helps me because I can just put stuff on YouTube and it's easier for me to share it later. Okay, let's see. When are you going to do a live panel discussion? Oh, that's so interesting that you said that of all days today. So I don't know when my next one will be. I was actually contemplating doing one in Nashville. And so, but it's interesting because we will probably soon be releasing the one that we did from Atlanta. I had to put a pause on that project. We filmed it. It was awesome. We filmed it and, but it's been months since we did. And so now the stuff that we had to take care of is taken care of. What area are you in, sir? I'll have to see if I would even let you on a panel because you be liking to start trouble. He be one of those ones that sometimes he's nice and other times he's a troublemaker. But in all sincerity, one of my goals and hopefully the door gets open is I would like to be able to go to major cities and have these conversations because I don't see a lot of people genuinely trying to understand the opposite sex. It feels like a lot of people are just looking for titillating content. They're looking for that eye-catching headline, and they really enjoy pitting people against each other. I've been invited to countless podcasts and things, and I'm not gonna lie, I was tempted because I was like, oh, it's good exposure because these people have huge following. But when I go and look at their content, you can tell they're getting off on getting people to like fight and have, disagreements or saying stuff that is really offensive and it's going to be triggering to people. And so for me, my goal is to truly help people understand one another. I love seeing people be able to communicate and thrive. And I don't say this a lot, but my favorite clients are couples. I've had the pleasure of dealing with quite a few couples, and I don't know what it is, but there is something that is so satisfying being able to help people reconnect and see where they're missing each other. Because a lot of times, I would say actually every time, I don't know any situation where it's not, typically people don't have a lack of love, they just don't have the tools. And so someone is not getting what they need and they just need it explained in a way that the person can get it. Or perhaps there's a person who needs to grow in an area and their immaturity is coming across like they don't care. But I absolutely love that. So you guys, stay tuned. Hopefully I'll be able to do more projects. And I'm also looking for sponsors. If you have a business that you're looking to promote, it's the perfect situation because if you sponsor a panel discussion, you will have obviously that exposure for your business, which is what somebody did previously. And then I'll be able to give you guys more content. So you can let me know if you want to do that too. Okay. Is it okay to tell the guys let's be friends first before dating or just be relaxed and observe him? Great question, Kay. Yeah, I wouldn't say let's be friends first only because a guy will think that you are putting him in the friend zone. It's more so you and your mindset. So you're absolutely right in the two options that you gave. It's the latter. But having that mindset and well, no, I was going to give you a little bit, but we'll save that for the femininity class. There are ways in which you can control the situation without coming across like you're controlling the situation, in order that you can move at the pace that you want. And I always say this, let the guy set the pace. You can always slow him down. Never try to speed him up. So you never try to speed up the process, but you absolutely can say we're going too fast. And that applies to love bombing or trying to get too physical, too fast, or what have you. But yes. So she said podcast. I'm assuming she's asking if I have a podcast. Currently, I do not. I have in the past, and they have been amazing, super, super fun. But I do not currently have one. I just have my YouTube channel, which is just Chasing Yancy. If you go on there, just type in Chasing Yancy, it'll pop up. Okay. All right. Oh, and one thing before I go, just out of curiosity, who is an OG who's been here before? I would say longer than a month, and who is new? So out of the few of you, what do we have left? We got like 16 people left. I want to see who is an OG and who is new, so I can say hello. I see so many new faces. He said I just keep 100. Oh, you're in Florida. I don't know why I thought you were like overseas or something like that. Okay, so confidently. Oh, duh. Confidently Aaron. I saw confident and then I put Lyern. I was like, confident Lyrin? I really made it so much more complicated, Aaron. Thank you, Aaron. Nice to see you. We got, okay, Lynette, she's definitely an OG. Lenka is new and she got a bag. Thank you. A badge. Spike Cassandra is OG. Oh, hey, love. I'll see you next week. We have Mrs. Ashcash. She is new. Hi, welcome. All right, so we got new or OG. She's laughing. New or OG. OG is like longer than a month. Lex is an OG. Nice. Okay, there are a couple more of you. Sai, I already know. She goes way back. All right, guys. Who else? I think about half of you have answered. Are you an OG? Been following my page longer than a month? Or are you new? And like I said, if you wanted to watch this replay, I am going to do my best to put it on YouTube. The very last one that I did, Instagram would not let me download it. It was annoying. I sat there for like 30 minutes trying to download it. So I will do my best as long as the technology doesn't glitch. He said I'm a new student. Boy, bye. All right, so it looks like that's all of you who are going to answer, but it's interesting. It looked like it was about 50-50, so it's always great to see new people. All right, y'all, I am going to peace out. It is getting pretty late, and I'm going to get going, but thank you for joining me, and until next time, tell someone that you love them. Good night.